Let's talk Tanya for the 29th of Shvat of a leap year. In the Tanya of the last few days, we found out how every single one of us, we have this hidden love for God, this hidden love which desires so much to be connected to God and is deathly afraid of being disconnected from God, and how we can leverage that so as not to do any sin, because any sin is disconnecting from God, and to have the energy and passion necessary to do mitzvahs, and not only to do the mitzvah, but to do it with enthusiasm, excitement, and go all the way for it. Because we have an understanding that every mitzvah is an opportunity to connect to God and to channel and to be a manifestation of God's unity over here in this world. And in today's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says that the opportunity to do a mitzvah, how excited we should be to do a mitzvah, because we are connecting to God. And this unity and this channeling of God's unity that we're doing through doing a mitzvah is not a temporary one. It's not as if you're doing a mitzvah and that unity with God lasts for the duration of the action of the mitzvah. The Alter Rebbe says no. Ultimately, we're connecting with God on a level which is beyond time. God transcends time, and therefore above. From God's perspective, every single time we do a mitzvah, we are connecting to God in an infinite way, in a timeless way, a connection that defies and transcends time. Now, how exciting, how amazing is that? Doing a mitzvah, every mitzvah that we do, and knowing that this is creating an eternal connection with God, at least from God's perspective. Well, we over here, we are subject to time, and therefore for us, that connection lasts while we are doing the mitzvah. But from God's perspective, that connection is infinite and eternal. So we're about to wrap up the short way, this strategy of being able to fight the animal soul. And what does it really come down to? This strategy, the short way, it comes down with being anchored in our most essential values that we have. And living a life which is consistent with our deepest values. And as a Jew, what Alter Rebbe is telling us, what is the deepest value of a Jew? The deepest desire and wish of a Jewish person is to have a relationship with God, an uninterrupted connection and relationship with God. And therefore, we walk through life, and at every single moment we say, this act that I'm doing is it connecting me or is it disconnecting me? That is what the short way boils down to. As opposed to the long way, which we discussed in the earlier chapters, it's about creating a love for God. This love that we're talking about is not about creating a love. It's about tapping into and being in touch with our deepest value and understanding that as a Jew, our deepest value and our greatest wish is to be always connected to God. By way of example, imagine you have a parent who's having a tough time with one of their children. The child isn't behaving so appropriately, and the parent is finding the relationship strained and challenging. So how is the parent going to approach this? So there is the long way, there is the short way. The long way is the parent will take some time to think about the child and will develop feelings of admiration and respect for the child, think about how wonderful the child is in so many different ways. That's one way. That's the long way, developing feelings. But then there's the short way. What would be the short way? The parent thinking, hey, this is my kid. I love my kid. Actually, that is one of the most essential things about me, is that I love my kid and I would do anything for my child. And I'm going to behave in a way that's consistent with my deepest values and my deepest desires when it comes to my child. And the same way over here, in our relationship with God, we can develop feelings for God, or we can tap into our core values. And as a Jew, our deepest value is our desire to connect to God. In tomorrow's Tanya, we are going to finish chapter 25 and wrap up this discussion about the short way.